All right. Good Friday morning, everybody. Welcome to your Friday morning safety meeting. My name is John Harden. I'm with the safety department. With me today is Stephanie Ewing. Stephanie is also in the safety department. We're located in the Z building, the very southern building on the Springfield campus on the main level. Up there, not too far from Success Leasing. Most folks know where Success Leasing is. So if you ever need anything, have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to stop by. Say hi, ask us your questions, and we'll be sure to answer them for you. So we got a good crowd here today in Springfield, it looks like, some yellow vests. So let's start off by going out east today. Let's go out. I think we've got Mr. Rick Iffert and Richard Brock out there. Good morning, guys.
Hey, good morning. How y'all doing down there? You got the Rick and Richard show going on up here in Pittston, Pennsylvania. Great week this week as far as weather is concerned. We had some, 80-degree weather this week, and looks like it's going to run right through into next week. So it's going to be some fantastic weather, some good trucking weather. So yeah, let's get these guys in here, get their CDL license, and get them moving.
Well, outstanding. Sounds like we sent you our last week's weather, and now we're getting some of the cold weather that Utah probably pushed over here to us. So what else you guys got going on this week up there?
Hey, this is Richard. We've got a couple things going on. One, we actually got the Arnell property that is now prime property. With that, we are starting to park trailers down there, and we're bringing some 2B in there to kind of level that out and make it so that it's more usable during the winter. And so we'll have a little bit more construction going on there as they get some rock laid, but we'll have all those trailers down there, and that's going to open up more trailer parking here. If you've been through the yard, you've probably noticed that we had a little bit of a spike as we moved the trailers off of there, but they are starting to go back down there now. So you'll see there's more parking there. Right now, there's about 260 trailers here on the yard, and a lot of those are moved down to the pad. Another thing that I would mention also, it is getting a little bit colder, and we are moving into deer season, starting to rut and going into the pre-rut right now. So you guys are going to see a lot of deer movement, especially through the day, that you might not have seen before. So if you see a deer come across and it was a doe, watch out. You may see a buck trail in it too. So, something to be mindful as you're driving down the road. If you see one deer come through, there may be others coming after it. So continue to slow down if you see those crossing through there.
Outstanding, and absolutely. I had to dodge a couple on the way to work this morning, so they're really out and about. Saw them last night standing in the middle of the road, so we've seen a lot more of those deer strikes come through, the past couple of weeks. So always a seasonal thing, so that'll last here for another few weeks, but be mindful of those deer. We appreciate it, guys. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please get a microphone in front of somebody and feel free to jump in.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, guys. Well, let's go out west now. We've got Mr. Jonathan Grice out west in Salt Lake City, Utah. Good morning, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Hey, we're doing great. Sounds like you got a good crowd out there this morning.
Yeah, we got a pretty decent crowd. We'll bring a few of these folks up here in a second, but I wanted to give a couple quick reminders. Locks on trailers, I've brought it up the last couple of weeks, but we still have a few issues with that, with folks coming in with empty trailers without locks on them. I know it's something that probably is a little bit redundant to keep repeating, but we really do need everybody to ensure that we've got our trailer secure at all times, empty or loaded. So please keep an eye on that. The second thing I wanted to mention was regards to the geotabs and camera installations. We are up and running 24/7 now, so you don't necessarily have to go to Springfield or Pittston. You can also come out here to Salt Lake City and get you taken care of. Just make sure you get with your road assist advisor or even one of our shop foremen out here. We can get you an appointment set up. So just wanted to toss those few things out there. As I mentioned, we've got a couple special folks out here this week. So we got a celebrity speaker, Stan Kashuk. He's going to come on up first.
Oh, Jonathan, thanks. Hey, so good morning, everybody. Appreciate y'all being here. So today or tonight, we're actually recognizing some of our drivers for the Utah State truck driving competition that was held out here in June of this year. We had several of our drivers that competed. We had a really good showing for trophies or belt buckles here in Utah. And so I wanted to bring some of those folks up that were here. Daniel just sat down with his breakfast, but we're going to call him up here. Daniel and Ben and Roy and Buddy, you guys come on up here for just a second. And give them a hand here. Hey guys, appreciate y'all being out here. Appreciate what you do. So, put my glasses on here. So this year, Ben Walker took third place in the 5-axle division. Buddy Gray took first place. So he went to nationals actually this year in 5-axle. Roy Romo, he took third place in sleeper berth this year. Then we had Scott Fisher, and Scott actually is starting to work local now, but he took second place in flatbed. And then we have Daniel Thornton here as well that took third place in flatbed. So we're, like I said, we're having the banquet here tonight. The State Trucking Association is here in Utah. We're going to celebrate with these folks. So if you're curious about how to be on the truck driving competition team, each Labor Day weekend, the Friday before Labor Day, we have a competition in Springfield, Missouri. It's just the day before our picnic there in Springfield. So if you're interested in competing to be on the team, you can join us there and compete. So we've already done it, obviously, for this year since Labor Day has passed. These folks who qualified here in Missouri and in Utah as well will be eligible to be on the team for next year again as well. So appreciate what you all do. And I'm really excited to have these guys here. Some of them that couldn't be with us, they're out working. And I would be remiss actually if I didn't mention Anthony Eck, Charles Smith. Those guys are out on the road. But Anthony was very, very beneficial with these guys this year. He put a great program together to help them practice to be ready for the state competition. So thank you all for what you do. We appreciate you all. And just as we're going into the winter here, be safe. Okay. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much, Stan. Congratulations to all the drivers out there being recognized. Great job this year representing Prime at the Truck Driving Championship. All right, so we're going to come right back here to Springfield, Missouri. Good morning, everybody. Good. We have some enthusiasm as always. Dee, I hear you over there. We appreciate that. So I want to welcome everybody here again. Again, I'm John Harden. I'm with the safety department. And I mentioned earlier we saw a few yellow vests here in the crowd. I saw some up in Pittston there. So if this is your first week at Prime, whether you're coming in with your permit, whether you're coming in with your CDL, if this is your first week, your first safety meeting, please stand up. Let us welcome you to the family. Welcome you to the Prime team. We certainly appreciate all of you being here. We feel that you've chosen the best company out there that you possibly could. One thing that I just wanted to talk about, you know, being here for 21 years now, you hear a lot of stories from folks that come into Prime that maybe have been at other carriers, talk to drivers at other carriers, you know, and I hear a lot of, you know, can I come in and see you? You know, do I have to check in with security? And the answer is this card right here will get you in to pretty much any door that you need. And we encourage you to come in, talk to your fleet manager, talk to your logs associate, talk to your payroll associate, talk to your road assist advisor, come talk to the safety department. You know, the doors are wide open. So any questions that you have years and years of experience in the trucking industry at your disposal. So don't be afraid or don't hesitate to use that. Utilize that. And if you have questions, if you're not sure about something, if we can't answer it, we'll find somebody that can. So we do appreciate you all being here. And if you guys have any questions, we're going to stick around. A lot of the speakers will be sticking around after the meeting, so feel free to come up and ask them. So I'm going to let you talk now a little bit. So we've got Stephanie Ewing here at the safety department as well. Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. You want to jump into some inspection numbers
Yeah,
this morning?
so this week we had 158 inspections. 110 of those were clean. That is a 70% clean rate this week. So great job. That's amazing. Yeah. So the inspections this week, we had a couple that were speeding again, going through towns and construction zones and stuff like that. So obviously we need to watch the speed limits out there. I think that was the main one. I did know that there was some, I think for like brake lines or something like that. So make sure that you're doing thorough pre-trips. Make sure that you watching those speed limits and making sure that the equipment is good and secure and safe. Straps on flatbeds. Make sure that you're good out there. Okay.
So thank you. We appreciate that. You know, every week with the prior week's inspections, we go through and we look at them. Somebody in the safety department goes through every single one of them. This week it was Bill, you know, but we always fill each other in. And, you know, one of the things that we've been seeing more common, you know, is the speeding, as Stephanie mentioned, also improperly worn seat belts. So, you know, now that we're getting some of these cameras going out there, you know, we see some seat belts with some slack in them, you know, and that's not safe. You know, we want you to be safe out there on the road if you're ever unfortunately involved in an accident. So make sure you're wearing your seatbelt properly. You can still be cited for that. You can still have to pay, you know, out of pocket, paying a fine. We do not want that. CSA points, you know, there's just nothing positive that comes out of not wearing your seatbelt positive. The main thing being your safety. So we wanted to make sure to remind you of all that this morning. So
I was going to go into winter driving a little bit too. You know,
go right ahead.
winter is coming up. We've already seen snow in Wyoming. Wyoming I-80 was closed for about 16 hours on Wednesday and Thursday. So with that being said, you know, it might not be a bad idea to start thinking about the winter gear on the truck, the boots, the jackets, the gloves, the hats. Make sure that I'm a past driver. We always had kitty litter, and that way if we got stuck on the road and we needed assistance moving, we could put a little kitty litter behind the tires and get up the hills or whatever we needed to do. Make sure that you have all the proper chains, cables, socks, whatever you need out there, because winter is here.
Absolutely. And we put that out yesterday on our weekly safety staple. We also sent a fleet message out to the Qualcomm regarding the weekly safety staple. So hopefully everyone saw that, read that. Hopefully everybody's prepared. Also want to mention, you know, chains, cables, auto socks. Make sure that you're equipped to go into all 48 states legally. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, good deal. Well, we're going to start bringing up some speakers here. We've got a pretty busy morning this morning. So we're going to bring up from our log department, Alex. I see you sitting over there. Good morning. How are you today?
Morning, doing good.
Good deal.
So we're just going to go over a few updates and then questions that drivers have had as we go through the Geotab swap process, upgrades. So one, the shops installing are Springfield, Salt Lake, Pittston, and we just added Manuka. So if you are around Manuka and you need to do a swap or anything like that, or maintenance in general, you can get that done there. Springfield, Missouri has availability and is prepared to do them 24/7. It's just a matter of getting in contact with the shop. That would be the best way in Springfield to get an appointment with them. IT is currently working on adding more videos to the Prime app, so we have more resources for the Geotab. We have the default log training for the Geotab. That'll show you how to log in, general log information. But IT is working on the Geotab, Netrodyne, the Prime app, since the Prime app will have a few more features added onto it because of the Geotab. So I would just check that regularly so you are more up to date on the latest videos. They're doing a lot of work, and I think it's great that they're working on that. Let's see. Due to the volume of drivers that we have doing swaps, upgrades, new leases, we no longer require the Geotab log training or the class to do the swaps or the upgrades, or if you have a new lease, anything like that. It is still highly recommended, being that it is a new system. It's still a way to log hours of service, and those rules do not change, but there are more features on the Geotab, and you will be lost if you do not know how to use that. So again, we do have classes 1:30 p.m. Central Time here in Springfield. You can see that in Pittston and Salt Lake, but the Geotab log training video is just a good way to get y'all started on that. Lastly, on these updates, don't delay your own installs. We need to have all logs certified for us to be able to do any type of install, upgrade, or swap for the Geotab. If you don't have that, we can still fix it for you. For example, if you're upgrading and you leave your old truck and you no longer have access to a Qualcomm, logs will have to do that, and that averages 30 to 40 minutes. If there is a backlog of drivers, so if we have 4 drivers in a day, one after the other, you may be waiting an hour or more to get that done. So again, if you are doing something like an upgrade or if you're getting a new lease, make sure that your logs are certified. That way you can leave as soon as you can. You're not delayed in terms of getting dispatched or anything like that. And I'm going to end with a few questions we've gotten in logs from drivers. This is both through the just kind of drivers coming in or questions over the phone. So one, is the GeoTab faster than the Qualcomm? It is significantly faster. If you've ever had someone do an edit for you, certifying the logs, editing something, having it accepted, and then being reflected in the GeoTab, it's about 2 minutes every time one of those things has to update. I think one of our log advisors yesterday said it took 2 seconds for her to send it and edit out and the driver to receive it. So it's a much smoother process. And those minutes count when you're on the road and your on-duty time is ticking down. So it is a significant upgrade in time. Number two, we actually had this question left by a Maximilian in the last video. I'm unsure if we answered it live as it happened or if they put it in after the fact. But the question was, is there a list of preset annotations on the GeoTab? As you know, whenever you do a status change on the Qualcomm, it does have the option to put in your own comment, but it has the built-in annotation. The GeoTab does not have a built-in annotation option in there. You have to type it in manually, but it's a lot quicker typing it in one of those than it is typing it on a GeoTab. You also have a pen on there to make it a little bit easier. And the last question that we get is the messaging question. The GeoTab app, the one that you use to log, does not have the option to message out or do macros, but there is a Prime app on the GeoTab, so you don't have to use a separate device to send out those macros, receive messages, from fleet managers or logs. Let's see, that was pretty much it for that. Does anyone have any questions about it? Yeah.
When you update your logs, you need to clock out of the truck. So if somebody moves it, if it's not in the bay at the time, it will click back on there. Do you need to log out after you've done all your logs?
Yeah, that was a good point. I missed that. Yeah. So when you do the last certification, you want to log off of the truck because you don't know if anyone's going to move it or not. But yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Good deal. Any other questions? Pittston, Salt Lake, any questions this morning about this? I figured we'd have a lot of questions.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you very much, Alex. Appreciate it. Let's give Alex a round of applause. So a couple of things I just wanted to add on to that. We are doing installs at the 4 locations that Alex mentioned: Springfield, Salt Lake City, Pittston, Manuka. Right now, and Brianne's here so she can correct me if I say anything wrong. Right now, it's probably about a 2-hour install here in Springfield. So Springfield's 24/7. Springfield has been installing these the longest, so they've just got the most experience doing it. Manuka is the newest, so it may take a little bit longer than the 2 hours that we're seeing here. We do recommend that you reach out to the shops and set an appointment time. We are getting booked up with that, so just to better plan your trip, better plan your time at a terminal, make sure you reach out to the shop, reach out to your road assist advisor if you need to get in contact with them. Even reach out to us if you're not sure how to, and we can get you in contact with them. So if anybody has any questions throughout the meeting this morning, feel free to ask on that. We will have folks over here after the meeting as well to answer questions. So we appreciate it a lot, Alex. Thank you. All right, we're going to bring up Brandon Mallard from our Human Resources Department. You can see we've got the gym taken over today with the fair setup. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Brandon Mallard from the HR department. I handle the benefits for you. So just want to get out in front of you again, let you know, company drivers, it is open enrollment right now. So if you want to make changes to your insurance, add, drop anything, now is the time to do it. You can always call the enrollment center. If you're here on site, you can meet with Lee. She'll be in the benefits fair today. Independent contractors, open enrollment for you guys is going to start tomorrow on the 1st. That's going to run through January 15th. During that time, you can always give enrollment first a call. Dave Brill is here on site to assist you if you want to meet with somebody one-on-one. He'll also be in the benefits fair today. As you can see behind me, there is a lot going on. So from 9 to 2 today, we've got the benefits fair. This is where a bunch of our vendors come in. Anthem, RX Benefits, VSP. You can pick their brains, ask them a lot of questions. Dave Brill, Enrollment First, will be there. Got Abacus. One of the more fun ones, we always have Rescue One come in. They bring a bunch of puppies, and this year I think they might bring some cats. So if you guys, need a furry friend on the truck, we've got, some dogs and cats you can play with today. So it's a good time. Last thing I want to mention about the benefits fair is make sure you get in the raffle. So a lot of these places have donated some raffle prizes. So when you go through, pick up a card. As long as you stop by 5 booths, let them sign off on that, throw your raffle ticket in. At the end of the day, we're going to draw a bunch of prizes, okay? But really, just make sure you check your benefits during open enrollment. Company drivers, don't miss out because it's ending next Friday. Independent contractors, yours is starting up tomorrow. Any questions for me? Nope. All right.
All right. Thank you very much, Brandon. Let's give Brandon a round of applause. There's a lot of work that goes into the benefits fair back here for everybody. So, okay, we're going to bring up Rachel with Driver Health and Fitness this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Where's Colby? Slipping in?
Yeah, not feeling good. Good morning, everyone. I'm Rachel. I'm the dietitian just up in the office right up there next to the driver's lounge. So basically what I wanted to bring to you guys today is the results of our October walking challenge. So we had over 450 entries. That means 450 different times that people logged their miles. And then we had over 2,000 miles logged. It was like a lot. So give yourselves a round of applause. That's really cool. And that was all done by drivers. I mean, there's drivers in there who were walking 3 different times in the day and, they were logging that. So that was really cool. Last thing I want to mention is that we are going to be in the benefits fair back there. We've got a bunch of truck-friendly recipes. They're high protein. So come see us if you need to talk about anything or if you want to try any of the recipes. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you very much. So, all right. Well, let's get into to our next person here. I'm kind of waiting for John Blancett to make an appearance to give him a round of applause. I was holding off till the end on that, but we'll fit that in here today. So we're going to bring up Dr. Luke Van Kirk with Command Health, located downstairs here at the terminal here in Springfield, Missouri. Dr. Kirk's sporting your Chiefs gear. I like that.
Oh, yeah. Good morning. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on our membership program. We started enrolling people last month. We've had a decent response, decent amount of people signed up. Just want to remind you guys, drivers, if you want to sign up for that membership program to be able to access those benefits and get the telemedicine and be able to text your provider and those kind of things, we need to see you once physically. So if you're in Springfield and you're wanting to sign up, go ahead and call us, try to get it. We can do just a quick appointment to meet you, see you physically so we can meet that requirement and be able to take care of you wherever you're at across the country. And then also wanted to mention that we've hired a new physician, Dr. Norgard. She started just a couple weeks ago, so she's available to see patients now. And then also we are going to be over at the health fair. So if you're here in Springfield, come say hi to us, meet the team, meet Dr. Norgard. If you got questions about our membership program, we got some information there for you. Be happy to help. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Any questions for Dr. Luke while we've got him here? Okay.
John, we really wanted to say one thing about the benefit fair. Lawrence Drug will be here giving out flu shots. So if anyone wants your flu shot, you can go to the benefits fair and get your flu shot today.
All right, good deal. So we've got a special speaker here next, and I'm going to bring Dee up to do the introduction. And Dee wears a lot of hats here at Prime. A lot of you see her around the terminals. Obviously, the folks in the yellow vest will become very acquainted with Dee. So Dee, tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been here at Prime, and maybe some of the different hats you wear here.
Oh, God. Okay, so I came to Prime in 2015. I've had my CDL since 1991. I am an in-house instructor to our new kids. Hey, I also teach the instructors class. I'm the Highway Diamonds coordinator, and I'm a veteran on America's Road Team. So I get to do a lot of cool stuff here at Prime.
Thank you very much. So if anybody's not met Dee, you need to introduce yourself. We appreciate all you do. And Dee advocates for a lot of different causes here at Prime, which is what we've got this morning, our special guest speaker here. So I'll let you do the introduction and hand over the microphone.
All right. So guys, a couple of weeks ago, I got up here and I shared with you my story and my history with domestic violence. One of the things I love about Prime is that we are so involved in community partnerships. And today we have a special guest from Harmony House who's going to be talking to you about the eye care program. This is Kristen Snell, and I'm going to let you take it away, Kristen.
Thank you, Dee. Thank you, everyone. Big shout out to Prime for being such a great community partner with Harmony House. So like Dee said, I'm Kristen Snell. I'm the Director of Engagement and Partnerships at Harmony House. So I oversee all of our community-based operations. When people think about Harmony House, they often think of emergency shelter, which is true. That's only about half of what we do. We offer a host of community services so that folks can access services in multiple ways, in ways that make sense to them, because shelter is not the answer for everybody. So at our emergency shelter, everyone is assigned a case manager. That case manager is going to work one-on-one with that person to set goals, identify action steps to meet those goals, and then walk with them along their journey. So whether that is providing court advocacy, resources and referrals to other places in the community, whatever that client needs, that's what we're going to respond to. We also have advocates on site at our shelter 24/7, 365. So those are the folks who are answering our hotline, doing the assessments for shelter, and then providing one-on-one crisis intervention or support to our clients when they're in shelter. We also provide 3 meals a day. We provide them with clothing items, hygiene items, cleaning supplies. We work really hard to provide them with all of their basic needs. So it's one thing that they don't have to think about and one thing that they don't have to pay for. We are one of the only shelters in the area and in the state that shelters men. So our shelter is open to all individuals and their families who are fleeing domestic violence. We are the largest shelter in the state of Missouri, and we are the only domestic violence shelter in Springfield and Greene County. We have 41 rooms, 168 beds. Our shelter census is generally around 85 to 95 per day, and 40 to 50% of that census is children. So we're also the largest shelter of children in Springfield and Greene County. Our community-based services, we have our outreach case management, so they can provide supportive services for folks who are experiencing domestic violence, but maybe don't need shelter, and they have a safe place to stay, whether on their own or with a friend or family member, but they can still get access to the supportive services they need, such as setting those goals, identifying action steps, connecting to community resources and services. And they also do a lot of court advocacy. These court cases can take years to go through the system. So our outreach case managers can be there to attend those court hearings and help support that person through that journey. We also have 6 advocates at the Greene County Family Justice Center. So if you're not familiar with that agency, it is a one-stop shop basically for survivors of domestic violence. There are 9 different on-site partners. So folks can go to the center, they'll meet with one of our advocates, and then our advocates can connect them to the different on-site partners, including Springfield Police Department, Greene County Sheriff's Office, Prosecutor's Office, Children's Division, Borough, Legal Services. So again, whatever that client needs, that's what we're going to support them in and connect them to those resources. We also have victim advocates that are embedded with 2 local police departments. So we have a victim advocate that's embedded with the Springfield Police Department's domestic violence unit and with Republic Police Department. So what those advocates do is they will review all of the domestic reports from the previous 24 hours, and then they will reach out to those victims to make a phone call to let them know that support is available and what resources they can access if they're ready to access them then, or if not, they at least now have a contact that they can reach back out to that's not law enforcement that can help them help support them during their process. And then we also have transitional housing, and we also have rapid rehousing. So that is rental assistance for folks to get into permanent housing. It's medium-term rental assistance and utility assistance. And then we also have prevention education. So going out into the community, doing things like this, doing educational workshops for youth, teens, college kids, churches, businesses, you name it. We want to be in front of everybody to talk about this issue So that gives you kind of what Harmony House is in a nutshell. And then with eye care, this is our 10th year for our eye care campaign. And this helps us engage the business community to help raise awareness. So us as one agency, we cannot do it all on our own. So when we're able to engage the business community, we provide a box that has flyers. Like I can see the eye care flyer on the door in front of me. So flyers, window clings, there's the eye care button, the black eye patches. So this helps start that conversation with your employees, with your customers, with your clients, because this is a very pervasive issue. Springfield and Greene County have the highest rates of domestic violence in the state of Missouri. The statistics nationally are 1 in 3 women, 1 in 4 men. So if you know 3 women, you know 4 men, you know someone who has either experienced it, is experiencing it, or will experience domestic violence. So this is an issue that we need to bring to light. So eye care helps us pull back the curtain and talk about this issue, because the more we talk about it, the more educated our community becomes, and an educated community is a safer community. So when we talk about it, we create safe spaces for victims and survivors to come forward, whether that is just to share their story or to come forward to finally access services, make a police report, whatever makes sense to them. So thank you all for being here and listening to this, and please keep this conversation going. Talk about it. It's not a fun topic to talk about, and it is a very sensitive topic to talk about it, but we really need to get comfortable being uncomfortable when we have these conversations, because we do want folks to know what resources are available. And we don't expect the community to be experts in domestic violence. This is what I do day in, day out. I'm also a childhood and adult survivor of domestic violence. From the ages of 5 to 24, I was experiencing some form of violence in my life. So when I was going through this, I didn't know what resources were available. I lived in a very rural area where there were no resources. I was in my late 20s before I realized what I had experienced was domestic violence. So my goal and kind of my why with what I do is to get the message out there and to make the resources known. Even if it's just our hotline number or our website, that could potentially save someone's life. So we have a 24-hour hotline. It is answered by our advocates at our shelter 24/7, 365. 417-864-SAFE. If talking on the phone is not a safe option for someone, we have an emergency chat feature on our website. So myharmonyhouse.org, there's an emergency chat feature at the top, and it's just like talking to an advocate on the phone. You're talking in real time with one of our advocates in shelter. And then another way to get some education is that we have a podcast now. It launched the first week of October. It's Voices Against Violence. You can access it on our website or on Spotify. And it's myself and our prevention education coordinator just talking about domestic violence, the different dynamics, how it shows up in the community. So that is a great way to also get a little more information about the topic of domestic violence. We also have a blog, very similar, just some really great articles about the different dynamics of domestic violence, so you can get more education and share that out with people so that we can keep this conversation going and get more people involved in the conversation. Does anyone have any questions?
It's quiet in the room. It's quiet in the room.
It usually is.
Nobody wants to talk about domestic violence, but it's very real. So I want to thank you for coming in and talking to us today. Throughout the terminal, guys, the Plaza building, we do have donations stations set up right here at our security across from the North Star Grill. You can get one of these buttons, and we'd like to offer you the opportunity to support Harmony House just by your donations. You can get one of these. We also have a station right outside of Mr. Lowe's office. There's buttons available and patches, guys, for a nice donation coming from you to show your support for the work that we're doing. Over at the Plaza building behind driver lineup, there's Alicia and Jeff there. They also have a bucket full of these pins, buttons. We want to make sure that we're helping this cause because it's so necessary. For those of you who missed it when I shared my story, I just remember my mom being married to a construction worker who was an alcoholic. Many times he beat her, and we would find ourselves running down the streets while he was picking up these large stones and throwing them towards us. My mom's face would be bloody and bruised, and this happened time and time again. We lived within a close proximity of our relatives, and so going to shelter was going to the relative's house. And as I watched my mom go through that, I promised this would never happen to me until it did. My children's father was an over-the-road truck driver who decided that drugs was more important than his family, and he started to get violent towards me. One incident led me to get my face brutally beaten, and my children and I had to leave and go stay in a shelter similar to the services that Harmony House offers in California. And so I can't tell you how personal I take this particular issue, because children are suffering, women are suffering, men are suffering. And as community partners with Harmony House, we want to make sure that we do our part. So I'm asking you, if you see one of these buckets around and it says, I care, or you see any of the patches, please be sure to donate. Just your couple of dollars will go a long way. We've also sent out some information, was it on the app? On the app about how you can donate if you don't want to do it this way. And I want to thank you so much. Kristen, thank you for all that wealth of information.
Thank you.
You really packed it in a very short time, and I really appreciate you. Let's give her a hand for being a welcome guest.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Kristen, thank you very much for being here. You know, that's a lot of great information, and, you know, both of them coming up here, sharing their stories, you know, that's not easy to do, but they're doing it up here because, you know, they don't want anyone else to go through that same scenario. Or if you are, you know, we want you to get out of that situation. So a lot of great information. And I do want to add on to that, you know, the domestic violence, you know, let's talk about mental health a little bit. Mental health is very, very prevalent in our society right now. And with the holidays coming up, it tends to get magnified. So, you know, if you're having mental health issues, if you're having any kind of thoughts or anything, Prime has resources for that as well. So we're all one big family here. Now that you're here, we want to keep you here. You're important, you matter. You're the lifeline of this company. So Stephanie, tell us a little bit about maybe a resource that we have here at Prime for the mental health side.
Yeah, so I know I have the card on my desk with the number. So if you need help, you can call safety, call me directly. If you know someone that needs help, maybe they need to call the hotline, which is 988. Anywhere across this country, you can dial 988 and get the resources, get the help that you, a loved one, a friend, a coworker, maybe someone, if someone needs the help, let's try to get them the assistance. And if maybe you need the help, and so you don't want to call the resources that Prime offers, you can call the 988 number, and that will be able to assist you and make sure that maybe that you're okay, because we want you guys to be okay. And mentally out there it's hard sometimes, especially with the holidays coming up.
Yeah, the holidays always tend to magnify that, as I said. So, you know, we appreciate that, appreciate the number, reach out to us. So if anybody has any questions about that, I want to talk about it after the meeting, feel free to come over. So,
Next
all right,
speaker.
let's go to our next speaker this morning. We're going to bring up, from our operations side, we're going to bring up Ryan Boyer. He's on our refrigerated fleet manager side. So good morning, Ryan.
Good morning, everyone. Like you said, my name's Ryan. I am a fleet manager on the refrigerated division. Wanted to talk about a couple of things here. As Stephanie said earlier, we are getting into winter weather. We want to make sure that you guys are all safe out on the road. So just make sure that whenever you're driving in any of those kind of conditions, that you're first off slowing your speed down, even more so, you're increasing your following distance. And if you are in any kind of severe snow, ice, heavy rain, high winds, anything like that, where you feel unsafe driving, make sure that you shut it down, that you wait it out. Make sure that you obviously first find a safe place to shut down. You don't want to be shutting down on the side of the highway, anything like that in those kind of conditions. With that as well, you want to make sure that you communicate that to your fleet manager. Make sure you let them know so that way we can let our sales department know, and they can forward that information over to our customer for that load. Let them know of any and all delays that is going to cause. Along with that winter weather, that's got the potential to have ice build up on your truck and your trailer. So you want to make sure that you have 3 points of contact on the handlebars on the steps as you're getting in and out of the trailer to prevent any slips, falls, and potential injury. Now, if you do happen to get injured in any kind of those situations, you want to make sure that you let your fleet manager know, our safety department, and our risk management department. They'll help you through that process, get you the next steps on how to proceed, how to then get cleared to begin working again. Something else I like to talk about being a fleet manager with my drivers, especially as we're coming up with holidays, is the importance of an emergency fund. If you have a week's worth of fixed costs in your emergency fund, whenever you go home for a holiday like Thanksgiving or for Christmas, whenever you come back out of the house, you're able to apply that emergency fund. It's going to make it a lot easier, make it feel like a weight is lifted. You're able to become profitable, stay in the positive. You don't have to work back any kind of negative balance coming out of those holidays, especially with Thanksgiving and Christmas only being a month apart. If you're planning on going home for both of those holidays, please make sure that would definitely advise now, increase your emergency fund contribution, make sure that you've got enough in there to cover that time off that you're going to be taking. So that's all I've got. Appreciate everything that you guys do.
Nope, hang on here just a second. So one, does anybody have any questions for Ryan while we have him up here? Okay, not yet. So, one thing that I wanted to hit on, you mentioned kind of early whenever you're talking here, we've got a lot of yellow vests, which means we've got a lot of newer folks here at Prime. We've probably got a lot of the first-time listeners out there right now on social medias. So whenever you said if the weather is not safe, if I don't feel safe driving in these conditions, right? So I've only had my CDL for 2 months, let's say, right? So my experience is maybe not where somebody that's been here for 10 years is, obviously, right? So as a fleet manager, if I call in and they say I don't feel safe driving, how are you going to respond to that?
Well, I'm always going to ask, what those conditions are, whether that be, snow, high winds, rain, ice, kind of get an idea what that weather is going to be looking like. But if you're not going to feel safe, you're the captain of your own ship. I'm not going to be one to push you saying, we need to make it to this location, anything like that. I'm going to trust your decision. If you don't feel safe, we're not going to push that issue.
So there's a key word right there. You're the captain of your ship. So if you reach out to your fleet manager, he or she is going to respect that. They are not out there on the roads. They are not, in person seeing those conditions. So they're going to respect that. They're not going to ask a lot of questions. They're going to, say, if you can get to a safe place and shut down, let's do that. Or let's say that you're coming off of a break. It's early in the morning. The sun hasn't came up. Maybe the sun just came up. And you make that call and you say, hey, it's, I'm looking here at the parking lot and, there's no spray off of the tires when cars are driving by. So that leads me to believe that the ground is frozen. There could be ice on the roads. I'm going to sit here till maybe 9, 10 o'clock and see if those conditions improve. Let the salt crews get out there on the roads, get some salt down, let the roads thaw out, and then we'll reassess and I'll call you back at that time to let you know if I feel like it's safe to move, right? Those are conditions. Those are the conversations that we want to have. Your safety is the most important thing out there. You're the most important aspect of this company. So make sure that you're thinking of yourself and your safety first and foremost. So
exactly.
So all right, we appreciate you being up here. If anybody has questions, Ryan will stick around here for a little bit. So give Ryan a round of applause. Since we talked about the holidays a little bit, we're going to kind of ad lib here, and we're going to ask Bill Baining, who's our director of security, to come up. So, if you've listened to one of our meetings before, holidays are the times where thieves work the hardest, right, Bill?
Yeah, excuse me. Unfortunately, that is correct. So, every year, and I'm sure this is no different this year, everybody wants to go home for Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? We all want to get home, see our loved ones, spend time with the family. If you do that, we're going to ask you to do a couple things first. Hey, if you plan on going home, the first thing you want to do is notify your fleet manager as soon as possible that, hey, I want to be home at this time on this date. That way they can pre-plan a lot of stuff for you. They can get you a load into the air. They can do a lot of different things for you. And then secondly, when you're going to plan on going home, get with them or get with security or get with somebody and make sure you have a plan in place where you're going to drop your equipment. A truck stop is not a plan in place of where to drop your equipment. A Walmart is not going to be a plan in place where you drop your equipment. In fact, Walmart's in the next probably 2 weeks or 3 weeks are going to be calling us up and say, hey, you got to tell all your guys they can't park on our lots anymore through the holidays because we're going to be way too busy. And if they park, we're going to tow. And there's nothing worse than going in someplace and coming back out and your equipment's towed off. And now you're looking at $500, $600 to get that equipment back. And it happens, unfortunately, all the time. Or if you go in certain municipalities, they will actually boot your truck. And once they boot your truck, you're looking at $500, $600. We heard $1,000 the other day from a place where the truck got booted. The driver was actually in the truck, but they just threw a boot on it and they forced the driver to pay that fund, that amount of money before they get the boot off the truck. Do we think it's right? It's definitely not right. Is it ethical? Definitely not ethical, but it's happening out there, and that's the reality of the situation. So if you're going to go home, plan for it ahead of time. The other part that's going on out there right now is the crime rate is going up. Third quarter results just came in, and unfortunately, it's still rising. What's happening right now, Wednesdays and Thursdays seems to be the biggest day of the week for cargo theft. Anybody who stopped on those days at truck stops seems to be the first location where they're looking at stealing freight. The other thing they're doing is they're stealing all unattended trailers. So if your trailer's out there and you detach from it, say you got to get some work done, or say you plan on going home, you just say, okay, I'm going to drop it here at this truck stop, drive home for a little bit, come back and pick it up. When you come back, most likely it's not going to be there because they're stealing whole entire trailer loads at this point in time. So, it's an unfortunate reality is the economy's not getting a whole lot better. And unfortunately, the thieves want to find product that they can move and sell quickly and make a profit. And food is one of those things. If there's food has a good return and there's no serial numbers on food for the most part. So it's easy to get rid of and they can make a good return on their theft. One other thing you're going to see, guys, on our newer trailers that are coming out, on the back of it, we have that hasp currently that's on the back for your lock to go through. We're changing the back of the trailers around a little bit. We're going to have a box that's going to be covering the seal. We've noticed in the last couple of months, a lot of people are seeing a lot of seal breaks under trailers, or either maybe disgruntled drivers from other companies are just going by and breaking the seals, or people are attempting to enter into the trailer. But we're going to have a box now covering the seals, and it'll be locked down with your abloy lock. Make sure you get an abloy lock from the company store. If you're going to service it, do not use WD-40 on it. I can't stress this enough. You use WD-40 on your abloy lock, it will cause it to not work properly. It actually eats up the oils that are inside the lock. It'll cause the lock to become very hard to utilize. So there's a graphite that they sell in the store. Use that instead of the WD-40 and get better life off your box. Anybody got any questions before I get off?
Just a quick point, when it's really cold, de-icer is very good to have because the locks on your truck or your abloy lock can freeze up, and you'll be very glad that you had it on your truck when things ice up.
Yeah, that's a good point. The de-icer is good. Once again, though, if you use this graphite, it tends to help out a little bit. And we do have what's called weatherproof locks now in it for the abloys. They're a little bit more expensive, but they do tend to resist that a little bit more.
Does de-icer damage the lock?
De-icer will not damage the lock for the most part, but anything that you use in excess has that possibility. Hot water won't damage it, no ma'am. Anybody else? Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Bill, very much.
John, speaking of theft, we actually had diesel fuel stolen out of a truck last week or this week or something like that. So they're actually siphoning fuel out of tanks now too.
Yeah, thieves are pretty prevalent now out there, especially around your major cities. So, the Northeast, we've seen a lot of it. So just be very vigilant out there. put yourselves in good positions, as best you can whenever you're parking. And I just wanted to touch on, a couple of tips as a former fleet manager myself, and trying to get folks home for holidays. If you've got a family dinner on the 25th of November, and I have a driver that calls in and says, hey, I need to get home on the 25th. If this family dinner is at noon, we want to be very specific, because if you say, hey, I've got a dinner at noon on the 25th, then your fleet manager is probably looking at the 24th to get you home. And just as Bill said, reach out as soon as you know, talk to your fleet managers, have those conversations, because whenever the holidays come around, customers get full. So if you're used to dropping your empty trailer at location A to go home, maybe location A is completely full of trailers, and now we've got to go to location B, which is a little bit further. So have those conversations early. We do not want to keep you from your friends and family. So just prepare as best you can and have those conversations with your fleet manager.
Absolutely.
All right, so real quick here, we've talked about the Prime app a little bit. If you have any questions about the Prime app, we've got two experts right here, Richard and Brianne. They can answer any question you have about the Prime app. Please familiarize yourself with that. It's a great tool, makes your life a lot easier out there on the road. We can answer a few questions, but these are the experts over here, so please utilize them. If you're at a different terminal today, grab somebody that had a microphone in their hand and they can get you pointed in the right direction. If you're out there on the road listening on one of the social media platforms, call safety, call the IT department, the help desk, and we can get you help. So next thing, we're going to talk here just a minute. If you notice, we're wearing red this morning. So if this is your first meeting, 52 Fridays a year we have this meeting and we wear red, and red stands for Remember Everyone Deployed. So if you are a former member of our military in any branch, we'd like to stand up so we can recognize your services and say thank you. We appreciate that very much. So we are going to bring up Mr. Brian Brown next. He's our director of Flatbed.
Morning, sir. Good morning. Thank you, John. Just wanted to say welcome to all you guys in the yellow vests over here, guys, and I think we got a lady back there. Welcome to Prime. We're so glad to have you here. It's an exciting place to be. It's a place where you can come and the American dream is very much alive. You can come here and make a lot of money, and it's been fun. I've been here 26 years. It's been a lot of fun to watch new folks come in and make their dreams come true for their families. And I just really want to encourage you guys to stick with it. It can be tough at times. The other thing I would say to you is get your advice from people who have been around a long time, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Talk to those folks, talk to folks like D. Don't talk to those guys that are sitting around at the truck stops. That's not good information. So you guys will do great. Just trust your fleet managers. Stick with it, run the loads, run the system. You'll do great. So welcome to Prime. Want to give a shout out to our flatbed drivers. We're coming into a tough time of year for flatbed. Winter is always a little bit tougher, dealing with the elements, being out there, securing freight in the cold, the wind, the ice, the snow. Just want to encourage you guys to really be safe. If you get in a situation that you feel is not safe, step back, remove yourself physically from that situation, call your fleet manager, let's talk about it and figure out what the next step is. The last thing we want is for you to put yourself in harm's way and get hurt or have someone else get hurt. I was really proud the other day. We had 5 flatbed trucks at the same shipper. They were all getting loaded. Shipper tells them, hey, we're going to load you guys, and then we want you to pull forward and get out of the way, but don't put any straps on your trailer or anything. Just get out of the way so we can load these next guys. Well, shipper calls us and says, hey, your guys are refusing to do this. And we're like, yeah, they are. Good for them. And by the way, that's illegal. We're not going to do it. So all of our guys didn't do it. They put straps on, they moved forward. Other companies did it. And they said, well, the other guys are doing it. I don't care. We're not doing it. We're not going to take that risk. So really proud of our guys for being safety first. We're excited about what's going on in Flatbed. We're 825 trucks right now. We plan to be over 900. we plan to be over 900 by 2025, and then on to 1,000. We're putting a lot of building blocks in place to do that. We're adding some sales folks. We're going to be out on the road a lot more in front of customers. We have increased our top 5 accounts. I was looking at this, have grown $24 million worth of freight over the last couple of years. So that's a big chunk just in our top 5, not even counting the new business that we're bringing in. So super excited about that. I know we're almost out of time, but I want to mention a couple more things on Flatbed. We've been working with our driver advisory Flatbed drivers. There's 4 of them, great guys. They've come to me. We're on a group text every day. They want us to work on the headache rack to get more space for you guys. We're working on that project. We've also decreased the cost of startup for Flatbed equipment by, I think it's like $1,200. So that's getting much more affordable. We've gone to our vendors and said, hey, we got to be more competitive on this. They've done a great job. So really good news for the Flatbed guys, especially the new ones coming in. Lastly, I would say, you know, we got a lot of good things coming. The economy, this housing shortage is not new. I hate to tell both sides of the aisle that this is not a new problem, but it's a good thing for us because a lot of what we haul is construction materials, and they think this is going to be something that is going to last for 12 to 15 years. So that's a good thing for us. You know, that's going to prop up our business and help us to continue to grow. So we're really excited about that. John, I think that's all I've got. I would say one more thing. Champ, if you're out there watching, wolves up, get home safe.
Hey, we appreciate it. Hey, real quick, just a question. You talked about growth in your department. Are there any regions in the country that maybe you cater to more so than others? You know, if somebody wants to maybe be more localized, and I'm not saying local, but regional maybe.
Yeah, so, you know, we have several regional opportunities. We're trying to grow those all the time. One in particular recently is the Southeast. We think there's a lot of room for growth there. We've got about 33 guys running the Southeast regional right now. We run a Texas regional. We run a Midwest regional. We've got some guys running out west. We've got a little bit of everything for everybody. Some of those are on a waiting list right now, but if you're interested in that, please let us know. We'll get you on that and get you going with it. So we understand drivers want to be home more often. You know, some of you guys like the regional stuff. So we've got a little bit of that for everybody.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, so we're getting ready to wrap up this morning, and you know, typically Steve Wicke, our Vice President of Sales, and Robert Lowe, the owner, come up here and finish this out. They're traveling this week, so we're going to bring our Director of Safety up, Mr. Dennis Davis. Dennis, I apologize for not leaving you much time this morning.
It's all right. You guys covered the waterfront, and I appreciate that. So, good morning. My name is Dennis Davis. I work in the safety department, and this morning I get to do my best Robert Lowe impersonation. So, thank you guys for being here. I want to echo the sentiments of all the previous speakers and welcoming our new drivers at all of our locations. You know, we really appreciate you being here. We think you made a fantastic decision in coming to this company. As you can see from this meeting and a lot of the other things that you'll see that just going around this week, that this is a unique company. Just last night, you saw a barrage of kids and costumes, you know, trekking around the facility, trick-or-treating. It's just part of the culture of who we are. We do consider ourselves a family, and I know, you know, you're kind of keeping your arm's distance away from that concept, you know, as a new associate, but buy in, you jump in. This is who we are as a company. Communication. This was one of some of the feedback we got from a driver at our driver advisory board here a couple of weeks ago, and you know, I'm all in for it. We're willing to tell you what you want to know, tell you what you need to know. The most important thing for us, especially in the safety department, is tell us what you want to know. Tell us how you want to know it. All right. And we do we've been doing for about a year and a half now, a weekly safety staple that has been vastly unpopular. So we're going to kind of revert back to the old school method of what we're doing. We're still going to do the safety staple, but we're still going to send out a fleet-wide message via For some of you, the old Qualcomm system, but for an increasing number of you now, the new Geotab system. So look for those messages. It'll just be something from the safety department to give you some reminders about some key safety features, some key safety information. You know, one of the information that's important this time of year is winter weather. It's here. You know, it's nice and decent here in Springfield, Missouri, but out west this week we had our first episode, winter weather episode. So it's important that you understand that you're the captain of the ship. You make the decisions on when it's safe to drive or not your fleet manager, not the sales coordinator, not the safety department, not a customer, not anybody else here at Prime, but the driver behind that wheel. All right. Whether it's sunny and 65 or foggy or you're fatigued or you're not, or whatever the situation is, you make the decision on when it's safe to drive. The only caveat we ask of that is going back to that communication. All right. This is a special company. You see behind me the benefits fair going on. Take some time out, visit with those folks. You know, we can tell you that you're family. We can, you know, say all these things. And for some, it may be smoke and mirrors, but, you know, things like what's going on behind me, this shows you that Robert Lowe and the leadership of this company care about who you are, how you are, and what you do. So thank you guys so much for visiting with us this morning. God bless you all. Have a good day.